I'm going to try a different kind of video today with my fairy tale hot takes that go progressively hotter, 10% to 100%. And are these factor cap? We'll see. So we're starting off at 10% with Juvia and Levi are underutilized characters with huge potential, and they deserve more screen time and appreciation from fans. And to an extent I definitely agree, especially with Juvia just getting usurped by Lucy getting all these super overpowered water abilities when that's supposed to be her thing. Levi on the other hand is interesting, but she's also currently pregnant, so I don't know what you would expect her to be doing. I also think fans generally appreciate both these characters enough, so I'd say this is like half correct. At 20%, we got Greylu feels forced romantically, Crush does not equal compatibility, Nalu and Gruvia are clear. And like, yeah, but also, who is even shipping Grey and Lucy in the first place? At 30%, we got Lucy and Wendy have the best development. They're definitely up there, but I think the title of best development goes to Gajeel, but also he was mentioned here, so sure. At 40%, we got Zervis is the best written and most developed ship. Hell no, that title goes to Gajeel and Levi any day of the week. 50% we got Demaria and Brandish are not equal to Lucy, both have high advantages. This one depends on where you're talking, because if it's 100 Years Quest, then Lucy and Brandish have been verbatim stated as equals. Demaria is not a fighter anymore, so we don't really know, but if it's Alvarez, then yeah, she destroys Lucy. Brandish also destroys Lucy and Alvarez, so sure, you can say you're right on this one. 60% Spriggan 12 is the best villain group. They realistically should have won in Alvarez versus Fairy Tail. If we're talking about a pure show of power, then yes, Alvarez destroys Ishgard, but the war was way more than that. I mean, Irene and August basically won their fights and then killed themselves. Brandish switched over to the good guys, and Godsarena was killed by Acnologia, who wasn't fighting for either side. In terms of best villain group, they were definitely the most interesting, so I'll give this one as like half correct, because in terms of pure power, yes, Alvarez clears, but in terms of narrative implications, they did not stand a chance. 70% Grey is a fraud and most overrated character. Absolutely horrendous take. In what universe is Grey Fullbuster a fraud? He was the reason they defeated Mardgeir in Tartaros, and he was matching END in Alvarez. You know, Natsu's flames that were so hot they burned time? Yeah, Grey froze those flames. Not only that, in 100 Years Quest, he one-shots the Thunder Legion and defeats the Dragon God Viernes. So this is just an objectively incorrect statement. At 80%, we got Natsu surpassed Guildart since Alvarez. He's above every current guild member by miles now. And like, if you count his current power-up with Igneous Flames in 100 Years Quest, you're right. But without that, he's still a Guildarts and Lox's victim. At 90%, you got Zeref is the best written character, Fairyheart is the coldest transformation, and Mavis is the smartest mind Fairy Tail has ever had. Best written is kind of a loose term, but he's probably up there, so you got it. Fairyheart is a sick transformation. I think Grey's Demon Slayer mark is up there, but you got it. And yes, Mavis is the smartest. I don't think anyone's going to argue that, so you got it on this one. At 100%, we got Acnologia over the Dragon Gods. He's still the strongest character in Fairy Tail without a doubt. And yeah, you're just correct on this one. So overall, the last two were actually pretty good, but everything else before that just shows a clear misunderstanding of the show. Probably rage bait,